Ready?
Yeah.
Why music? Why did you decide to play music and not be an accountant or be a doctor or be a lawyer or be anything else that would make money besides music?
Well, the truth of that is we fell in love with music in the church, and God and music have always gone hand in hand for me. And so it always made me feel close to God when I played music. And that kind of makes money not matter as much. But also, in college, I remember I was walking by the frat houses one day, and I heard a fraternity of people that I did not know playing my old band's music. And I thought, like, maybe I'm a little better at this than just like a hobbyist, you know? So and my brother was here, and he was making it happen. And me and him are naturally competitive. So I was like, well, if he can do it, I can do it. So, yeah, that's why.
Tell from the beginning, from the moment you decided to move to Nashville to where you are now. Ups and downs, all of it.
So I moved to Nashville in 2015, the day after I graduated from college. And I was going to move here and write songs and take over the world. And about 2 weeks into being here, I went to get margaritas with Brandon Lancaster from the band Lanco, and he convinced me to be a tour manager. And so that's where my music career basically started, was touring the world with Lanco and figuring out exactly what it took. I think the biggest thing I took from that was watching everybody's live shows and being present in those moments. Really just grabbed a hold of me. And so about a year and a half after that, I got called into Lanco's management office, and they were like, do you really want to be a tour manager? And I was like, not really. And so I got off the road with them, was just trying to write, do anything I can. And then I got on the road as a bass player for a little while, and then got off the road doing that. Got a bunch of...
Who
with Jimmy Allen. Yeah, I was on the road with Jimmy Allen, and yeah, spent 8 years on the road with him. Some of the best times of my life. Got my first #1 with him. Played all kinds of shows and festivals and did everything with him. And then about 2 or 3 years ago, that came to an abrupt end. And I got some more job offers to play bass, but at that point I was just really feeling like I wanted to take my career to the next level. And so I started releasing music. And then my son got sick. And so for the last, basically all of 2024, I was a caretaker for my son. I didn't write, didn't sing, just took time off completely just to be a dad 24/7 to him while he was going through his cancer treatments. And after he passed away, I thought about quitting music, thought about just getting a normal job to try to pay some of these hospital bills and some of just the debt that we had incurred by me not working. But I met a guy named Ben Strain, and I played him my music, and fast forward to today, and we have an album out, and I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about the opportunities that I've gotten from that.
What inspires you?
I would say the thing that inspires me the most is other country music. Like, there's a feeling I get when I listen to certain artists, and I just want to create those same feelings that they do. Song content, song themes, it could be something different every single day, but there's a certain feeling you get from hearing an artist that sounds like home. And I feel like that's just what I wanted to construe in my music, is just that feeling of home, that feeling of, in my case, Dalton, Georgia, or anywhere that's a small town. And, it's not all necessarily podunk, it's more complicated than that. And I think that's what my music is.
Who are some of the artists that inspire you?
I would say my biggest inspirations are Eric Church and John Party, Kip Moore, Lanco. No, I'm not really no. Yes, they are. Absolutely. They literally, the Lanco record was one of the most, that's kind of what started me on this tangent of country music in general. Brothers Osborne. I mean, everything, like, I feel like when I first got to Nashville between 2015 and 2020, it's like that era of country music. It really inspired me to make what I make now.
Are you signed to a label?
I am signed to an independent label. So we're a little house on Music Row. We have no major affiliates, no big pockets that are funding everything. It's called New Lost City, and it's basically just a partnership. It's guys that are standing side by side with me going into war with all of this. And we're just figuring it out. And they give me a lot of creative freedom to do what I want and just help me along the way. And that's really all you can ask for in 2025.
What was life like growing up in Georgia?
Life growing up in Georgia was probably similar to a lot of people's. My brother had a Jeep with the top off. We played sports. We played football, basketball, and baseball. Football was basically the center of the town. That was like the center of everything we did. So on Friday nights, you'd have 15,000, 25,000 people there rooting against the rival. And we did a lot of the same stuff as that everybody did. You know, we went to church on Sundays. We ran around town. Everybody knew everybody. Yeah, I mean, we had creeks and farms and everything you could think of that you kind of hear seeped into my music.
Did you ever have any run-in with the law?
Run-ins with the law. In college, I had 2 run-ins with the law. The first run-in was...
Don't forget high school.
Well, yeah, in high school, I wrecked my car really bad and got accused of letting someone without a license drive. And an officer, like, got really mad at me because he thought I was lying. Even though I wasn't, I swear. But that was one run-in. And then we played Ding Dong Ditch in 8th grade, and we had cops all over Brookwood Park looking for us. And then in college, I rode with one of my buddies. He was picking up a gram of weed, and there was a stakeout. There was already like police on staking this place out, and so the guy goes and gets the weed, comes back, gets in his car, drives off, and they pulled us over and basically let us go for free if the dude that bought the weed agreed to narc on the weed dealer, which was a blessing. I'm really glad that I didn't get in trouble for that. But also, the guy never narked on the weed dealer because he's not an idiot. So, yeah, that was my run-ins with the law. Well, I guess, too, in college, we were underage drinking and driving around in the back of a truck, and we got pulled over. But my dad had always taught me to say yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am to officers, and be kind and just do what they say and follow whatever they say, do what they say, and so they let me off without any trouble.
What would you say is the sound, the inspiration, the all-encompassing artistic sound you're chasing with Willie Tate?
I would say the sound is garage country. The songwriting, everything about the songwriting is, there's no major hit makers on the album. You know, it's all just my friends and family. There's no major name producer, you know, it's our friend Jared at his studio. Even though I think that one day he will be a major name. And the sound to me is, you know, we're in the South and the train's rolling through and we got to stop. Stop for the train. But I think the sound is a mixture of like, you know, real country music and also indie rock, garage rock.
If your fans should know one thing about you, what would that be?
I would say the one thing that they should know about me is that I am truly independent. Everything you see, everything I do, everything you hear is really just me and my friends and family creating together. You know, I've always just been a creative person, and I love to create. And so everything I do is just part of that process. There's no puppets pulling strings or no like big deep strategy from major whatevers. It's just honestly just me and my friends creating, and it's very authentic. It's very real.
Do you care about real tones and real drums and real guitars? And
I'm more of an AI guy myself. No, that was one thing that always drew me to Jared and wanting to create with him was everything you hear on my albums, every little sound from start to finish was played by human hands. And that's, to me, that's so respectable. Even though it wasn't necessarily me playing, everything that was played with human hands, and you can just tell that there's such a human element to it. And so I think that's what makes us sound, that's what gives us that unique sound, I think, is how much we do care about the tones, how much we do care about having a real drummer who's, my brother Tripp plays drums on everything, but having those real elements is what kind of, I feel like, sets my music apart, and it's because we care about that stuff.
What's the worst part about being independent and trying to make it in this industry?
I would say the worst part is probably being broke. Being broke's, you know, I didn't grow up rich. We didn't grow up rich. Our grandparents lived in a 1-story, 1-bathroom house on both sides of the family. There's not some silver spoon that was attached to our mouth growing up. And so I'm used to being broke. I don't need a whole lot in my life. And so it's pretty tough supporting a family with this. But at the same time, I would say the worst part is how hard you work and how much content and music you can make, and none of it's guaranteed. You know, at most jobs, I think you do the work and it equals the paycheck. It equals like the resources for your family. But in this job, you can do as much work as possible, and it's still up to the people to decide if it's worthy of their money. That's also the best part, though, you know, too. But it's tough being broke and being an independent artist. And also, I would say, like, just trying to make decisions and doing everything yourself is pretty difficult. You know, I wake up every day and just think of how I can move the ball down the field. And sometimes I get a little burnout from it.
Do you love music?
I actually hate it. No. Yes, I do love music. We are huge. I mean, even before I could play an instrument, we were always huge music connoisseurs. I remember when our friend Josh came to Georgia for the first time, and he brought this CD book, and it was full of thousands of records. And I remember loading them onto my iTunes in our family computer room, and I went from having like 20 songs to having like 3,000 songs, and that just ruined me as far as being able to do anything else with my life, because I was so enamored by this music. I was so into it, and I don't think that's really changed that much. We're always looking for new stuff. We're always looking for, you know, new sounds and new artists, and I think that stems from our love of music.
What is your relation to Southern rock?
Well, my relationship to Southern rock started, my dad always bought the greatest hits albums. And so one of the first albums that we ever had was the Lynyrd Skynyrd Greatest Hits. And we wore that album out. And I don't know why, but it just always felt like that was a part of me. Like, it always felt like that album was a part of my soul. And so, despite, like, I don't, like, listen to Lynyrd Skynyrd that much anymore. I mean, I've just listened to it so much, but it still feels like it just bleeds through in everything we do. So I would say Lynyrd Skynyrd is my relationship to Southern rock. I mean, not just Lynyrd Skynyrd. We've got Marshall Tucker. Who else? Steve Miller. Is that Southern rock? Sounds like it. All those bands. Bruce Springsteen. I mean, I know that's not Southern, but all those bands just really, like, you can just hear it in my music. Like, those are artists that got me going on all this stuff.
All right, I got one more question. Do you have a message for Nashville?
I'm coming.